Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name is Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. In today's episode, we are going to take a look at Tesla Q3 delivery numbers that were released Saturday morning. Now, we're going to compare my numbers to what was actually reported, and we'll see what happened. Where's the differential between the two, and what does this mean for Tesla? Is it good news? Is it bad news? Let's find out together. But before we do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and let's get into it. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at my model here. I went ahead and clipped out the actual press release, which you can see right here. So here we can see what Tesla delivered. Deliveries were a total of 241,300 vehicles. They produced 237,823. And we can see here the split between Model SX and 3Y. Now, keep in mind that none of this is split out between Fremont or Shanghai. So, there's going to be some give or take with how we figure out these numbers, but I want to show a couple things on how I got to where I got and what that means if there's, a less of a ramp up in Shanghai or Fremont, or if I was just completely off. Let's start off with the Model S and Model X. So here we can see 9,275 vehicles. As you can see here, my prediction, 9,200. I would say that was pretty damn close. And really, the only thing that was pretty damn close in any of this. That wasn't too bad. So obviously, Model S is ramping up decently. But this is about 3,000 vehicles per quarter if you think about it in a linear fashion. But obviously, that's not how things scale up. By now, Model S is probably about at a 4,000 clip vehicles produced. 4,000 clip, which means for the coming up quarter, Q4, we might be able to see 4,000 and more, right? So we might be able to see something like 15, maybe 16,000 Model S's. And keep in mind, now there's been some sightings of Model X outside of Fremont. Those deliveries might be ramping up as well. So that's something to keep an eye on and something we'll forecast in the future. Now let's take a look at Model 3 and Y. So here we can see Model 3 and Y. We have 232,000 vehicles that were delivered. I just want to come over here and we're just going to do some quick math, right? So you can see here for Shanghai, for Model 3 and Model Y, this is the aggregate of those two. And then if we add in what I had predicted for 3 and Y here, you can see that I'm off by, a fair amount. We just type this in here and we do this minus this. Right, so I was off by about 25,000. Although I was off, I don't think I was as off as it might appear. A lot of my numbers, when I derived them, a big part of it was really on a guess, an estimate of what happened for September in Shanghai. Now, there are rumors of about 55,000 vehicles being delivered, right? 50,000+ vehicles. And that's something I factored into my number. As I mentioned, in month 1 and 2 of Q3, we essentially hit what we have right here for all of Q2. So if I come back, if I just jump into my made in China, you can see here that in June we hit 33,000, August 44, right? So just call that, 2 and 3. So we'll just call that 77,500 just for easy math. And if I come back over here, right, 77,500, right, you can say that's pretty much equal. So that was for the first 2 months. And then we got these rumors that Shanghai had a September month of 50,000+ vehicles. What I did was I took that number, we'll just do it over here. I took this number and I simply added the 55,000, which is ambitious, and that's pretty much, how I got my number over here, right? So again, not exact math here as to what went into it, but that was the logic. That's what led to this number. As far as over here for Fremont, if we look at this 122 here, if we add in about, another 8,000, that puts us at about 130. So I might have been a little off here. So let's assume that, if I had to change these numbers. So let's say we didn't ramp up as much as I thought here, right? So that was an extra 5,000 for Model Y. Okay, that drops that down to 129. And let's say that Shanghai didn't actually make the 55,000 that was rumored, right? Which is really what made my numbers kind of stand out from everybody else's. If we take that assumption, I come in here and we say that they only made the same amount of vehicles that they did in the previous month. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is, let's say, I'm going to go back to made in China. We'll just put it here. Let's say that this was month 1, and this is month 2. So let's say that in month 3, so September, they only made another 44,000. That puts us at 121,609, right? So just 121 for easy numbers. So if I put that in here, what we're really going to get is this plus 121,000, and we're about 250. The real number was 241, so I was still a little off. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I was off by a bit, but I just want to explain where my thinking was for why we would be at such a high number. I also didn't take into account any of the production shortages, and maybe this is my, optimistic side when I'm doing these, because these are just prediction videos. So I think it's kind of fun to, be a little more bullish. Let's go ahead and just take a look at these numbers here again and talk about what it means overall for Tesla. Delivery, 9,000 deliveries, 9,000 Model S and X, so mostly S obviously, and 3 and Y was 232, for a total of 241,300. Let's come down here and we'll just go ahead and delete these two, and we'll put this as 241. And you can see here that quarter over quarter, we jumped 20%. Year over year, 73%. These are still phenomenal numbers. Tesla still blew it out. Again, if we come back up here, we can see Gordon Johnson, who was at the Wall Street consensus estimate at 223. We blew past that. And then Piper Sandler, right? Their firm had a 233,000 prediction. We blew past that. Tesla really did still blow it out as far as a quarter. Now, I know I was overly ambitious, but again, we're making predictions. It's fun to make predictions. Yes, my bullish bias was in there. My Tesla bias was in there, but it's not like we haven't seen Tesla surprise us to the upside before. Now, if we look at this 20% quarter over quarter, 73% year over year, when we see all the other automakers showing declines of 30, 29, 10, 11%. This is pretty amazing, especially going into Q4. Now, Q4 might be just another record-breaking, especially record-breaking quarter, especially with the thought of Giga Austin and Berlin potentially coming online. I'm just going to pick a random spot here, but we're going to do another interesting exercise. We know that in Q1, we had a total of 184,000 vehicles sold. And then in Q2, now we know it's 201, and now we know what Q3 was. Let's say that in Q4 that we don't grow anymore. We hit the same numbers that we hit in Q3. If I add this in here, we're gonna be at 868,000 vehicles. This is massive, right? So this would definitely surpass the 750,000 estimate from Wall Street. But this is assuming that we just stay as is and we don't grow anymore. And we know that's not likely. Let's adjust this. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So we're back to the 3 quarters. And let's just think about what's possible. What's possible is, we'll use this as our baseline, right? So 241,300, that's our baseline. So we know we can hit that. But let's say that Giga Shanghai and Fremont ramp up just a little more. So let's say we add another 10,000. And then let's say that we get another 10,000 from Giga Berlin, Giga Austin, or just one of them or both of them combined. Let's just say we do that. All right, so that'll be 261,000. If we add that into here, we'll be at 888,000. So this will still be shy of that 900,000 that would be really nice to hit, especially into the end of the year and after what we had last year with almost 500,000 vehicles delivered. This would be excellent, and I think that it's fairly conservative, especially if I'm using numbers in here of just 10,000 ramp up and 10,000 from Giga Austin and Berlin. Again, assuming that they're online. I do think this is likely off, because I think that we'll easily get another, say, 5,000 from Model S, and then maybe another 5,000 from Model X just alone. So there's 10,000 right there alone. And then if you think about Model Y, Model 3 potentially ramping up a little more, I could easily see that being another, 10,000. So we'll say this 10,000 for the Model 3 and Y ramping up. We'll say this 10,000 is just for the S and X, right? We're just adding on to what they currently have. And then I want to change this one. So this is the Giga Berlin and Giga Austin input. In reality, I could see them doing 15,000. So if they're ramping up, 15,000 over 3 months isn't really that much, right? That's just 5,000 per month on a ramp up. And so in reality, it wouldn't be that evenly split 5, 5, and 5, right? It'd probably be something like, maybe we do 3,000 the first, or 2,000 the first month, and then the next month maybe we do 7,000, right? And so they scale up like that. So let's say that this just goes up to 15,000 per factory. So that'd be 30,000 that we're going to add in here. So 281. Now this number, right, reflecting that comes out to 908,727. So this could get us over there, so over our 900,000 number. All this just to show that I don't think that we will hit 900,000. I mean, so now I'm putting my bullish hat to the side, right? I don't think we'll hit 900,000 without Giga Austin or Berlin. I'm not saying that Shanghai and Fremont can't do a million combined alone. All I'm saying is we're not there quite on the ramp. And I think that, you know, there will be other forces, geopolitical resources, bottlenecks in the supply chain, chip shortages, you know, just, you never know, right? It takes one thing. It could be a floor mat or a solenoid, or who knows, right? Just anything could be what slows everything down and stops certain factors. And then don't forget, right now, China is going through a rolling power outages. So who knows what happens there. I do think that 908,000 for the year is a moderate and very obtainable goal. I don't think that we'll hit much higher than this, you know, maybe a couple thousand. But I think this is a very solid goal worth aiming for the entire Tesla team. And I think something like this would make Wall Street very happy because, again, 750 was the estimate at the beginning of the year. And here we are looking to, you know, surpass that by a mile, in my opinion. So what does this mean for the stock market and how is Tesla going to react? Well, the truth is no one knows. And again, the point of this channel is to invest against the grain. I've had a lot of questions. What does that mean? Well, mainly to me, it means that you're not sitting there and trying to play averages. You're not trying to invest in index funds and just leave it and forget it. You know, I don't believe in picking 15, 20, 30 different stocks. I believe in picking one or two companies that you really believe in, you really understand at a very in-depth level, and you invest in those. Okay. The reason I came up with this philosophy, and I'm not saying I came up with it, but the way it was introduced to me was by watching a interview with Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. And essentially, they said that diversification is a hedge against ignorance. I took that to heart when I was very young. I started investing when I was in 10th grade. Well, actually 9th grade. I had a custodian account with my stepfather, and that's how I got into investing. And I started very young, and I threw everything into Apple before the iPhone ever came out. And then I threw everything into Amazon when I discovered what AWS was and what it meant. And now I have everything in Tesla. And this has been something that's worked out for me very, very well over the years. That's a lot of the impetus behind this channel, is to share my journey, what worked for me, and try to pass that on to other people. Eventually, there are other things I want to talk about, is how I make my spreadsheets, how I track my spending, things of that nature, you know, more just, you know, financial advice, or not advice, but financial how-to and how I navigate my life. Again, none of this is financial advice. It's just one man's opinion. But all of that just to say that, to me, investing against the grain is investing in a company like Tesla for the long term. A lot of people want to be in and out of stocks, the whole Robinhood era mentality. Nothing wrong with Robinhood. It's just not my style. When we talk about Tesla stock, yes, it's fun, and I really enjoy watching the short term of everything to do with Tesla. Yeah, I watch the stock every single day. But I'm not one to really care if it goes up or down in a given day. Obviously, if we go up 20%, yeah, I'm going to be very happy. But it's not something that I care too much about. With that disclaimer aside, I think that, you know, Monday might just be a muted reaction. I don't think we'll really see a big sell of the news. I don't think we'll see a jump up. If anything, what I've noticed lately is that Tesla can take a few days to really react. After Q2 earnings, it was literally the most muted reaction you ever saw after a blowout quarter, blowout margins, blowout revenue. Everything was just insane. And it was the most muted reaction you've ever seen. However, by the end of that week, about a week later, the stock started to move. Who knows what's going to happen Monday? And my message to you, it doesn't matter. Hold on to your Tesla shares. Be patient. Just let it do what it's going to do. You can't predict. You can't time the market. No matter what anybody says to you, if people could do that, a lot of people would be very wealthy and they wouldn't be working. The best strategy that has stood the test of time is to buy and hold and be patient. Anything in life, my best advice to you, and this is more just philosophical at this point. So, for whoever's left still watching this, the best advice I would ever give to anybody are two. One, be patient, and two, be consistent. In anything in life, you don't have to be talented. You don't have to be the smartest person. The only thing you need is to be patient and consistent. You do those two things, I promise you, you will pass the most talented person. You will pass the smartest people. Because if those people fail to be consistent and patient, they're going to fall off. And then you'll pass right by them. This is something that I truly believe in. And it's something that has, in many different levels of my life, whether it's relationships, whether it's finance, whether it's career, it's something that has just held true to me. A lot of times people talk about, their health and their fitness. Same thing. It doesn't take talent, doesn't take skill to be healthy and fit. All it takes is patience and consistency. That's it. And so I urge you to apply the same principles to your investing. I think if you do that, you will be astonished at the amount of growth and the performance that you can have in your brokerage account. We're going to leave it there for today. Congratulations to Tesla. Even though my numbers were ultra optimistic, ultra bullish, this was an amazing quarter. 241,000 deliveries, right? This is blowout. This exceeds all expectations, exceeds bullish firms like Piper Sandler, exceeds the bulls like Gordon Johnson. We'll see what he comes up with that's new and wrong with Tesla. And it exceeds Wall Street whisper and expectations. Phenomenal quarter. Bravo, Tesla. All right, we're going to leave it there for today, as I mentioned. But before we get off here, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. I love you all as always. Peace.